You are probably all wondering how you can dress proteins to make a vaccine. Well, it's not about dressing them up with Louis Vuitton bags, but more so decorating them in sugars. Let me explain. My PhD project involved developing a protein fashion factory which styles worm proteins with fancy decorations, turning them into reagents of death designed to kill worms in sheep. Did you know that internal parasitism in sheep costs the Australian livestock sector more than $450 million a year? This puts a huge strain on Australian farmers and their profitability. Currently, out of the 3 most important sheep parasites in Australia, there is only one effective vaccine available, the Biovax vaccine, which is made with real worm sugars on worm proteins. It is also important to mention that the production of the decorated worm proteins for the Biovax vaccine requires approximately 3 donor lambs to protect 1 sheep. So it's obvious that we need a more sustainable way to make this vaccine, such as a recombinant protein vaccine. However, the problem is that every time we make a worm vaccine using recombinant proteins, it fails to protect sheep. So why is this happening? This is mainly due to the fact that all of our current recombinant protein antigen expression systems are producing naked worm proteins, or proteins which are not dressed appropriately with the correct worm sugars or decorations. This means that our recombinant vaccines produce antibodies in sheep that do not recognize real worm proteins and therefore fails to protect the sheep from parasites. So the best way to address a technology problem like this is with a clever biotech solution, such as building an expression system which can mass produce worm protein antigens dressed with the same worm sugars that are on the natural worm proteins, which are recognized by the immune system of sheep. So hence a parasite-specific expression system. To do that, I need to make parasite cells grow forever by essentially converting them into cancer cells. This becomes my recombinant worm protein production factory, which will build worm protein antigens for me, glammed up with the correct sugars that the sheep's immune system will recognize. These synthetic sweet killer worm proteins can be then used in a vaccine. The vaccinated sheep will then make antibodies that will recognize the sugars on the worms in the gut of the sheep and kill them, thereby keeping the sheep nice and healthy and putting money back into our farmers' pockets. Therefore, sweet solution is for my parasite cell lines to put worm sugars onto proteins, essentially dressing them to kill worms.